Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today I'm actually sewing up a easy and fun, kind of relaxing sew. I've had a few days where things have not gone my way sewing wise, and there's been a couple things that just I had to put in the look at later pile. I don't know if you've ever had some of those days. And so when I have those days, I like to sew up a pattern that I just know is going to turn out and I love every single time. So today I'm going to be sewing up the Deanna pattern, which I just love, obviously. But of course, it wouldn't be me if I would just leave the pattern alone. I am going to be using this beautiful fabric from Boho Fabrics, but as you can see, it's see-through. Thankfully, the Deanna pattern is lined. The bodice is completely lined, which is great, but the skirt is not. So I'm going to be adding a layer underneath the skirt to line the skirt, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. Let's get started. Now, the really cool thing about this hack is if you have these fabrics that you just love, but they're see-through or they have little holes like this one. I can't remember what the name of this fabric is, but when I remember, maybe I'll put it in the caption below. But you're like, what do I make with that? Because I don't have to line it. I don't know what to do. This is a pattern that's perfect for that because, again, the bodice is lined, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to line the skirt so you can use all these fabrics and create a beautiful dress. All right, so first of all, we're going to cut out our pattern, and I cut out the bodice just exactly like it tells you to do it on the pattern. The only thing I did different is the slip skirt, and I'm going to show you now how I cut that out. All right, so now for my slip of my skirt, I wanted to find a skirt that wasn't so bulky at the waist. I'm going to have the gathers from my main skirt, and I didn't want to have two sets of gathers because I thought it might make it a little bulky. So what I did is I found a pattern. So this is the Lakeisha dress pattern, and this is the flared skirt, and it matches, is the same width as the skirt, as the shirt. The waist is the same width, so that matches up with my shirt, with my bodice. So I'm going to go by that and use that as my skirt. Now, I don't want this to flare out so much. It doesn't need to flare out that much. I just wanted to flare out a little bit, but probably a couple inches less than that. So I am going to cut on the fold, and the reason being is that I want to be able to subtract the same from both sides, and I'm going to subtract about 2 inches. So it still flares out a little bit, but not as much. I don't think I need it to flare out as much. I don't want it to be super bulky underneath. I just want it to be like a slip of skirt or whatever. And I'm also going to add a little bit of length because this is meant to have a flutter to make it longer. So I'm just going to add a little bit of length, a couple of inches, so that it hits kind of right above my knee. I don't want it to be too short. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start here at the edge of my skirt. And I said I wanted to subtract a couple of inches. So I'm going to go couple of inches out in from that. So I'm going to go straight down, and I'm going to go down like probably like 3 inches. It says to do 5 inches if you're hemming it to make it the knee length. So I'm going to do 3 to 4 inches down from that. And I'm going to cut the same for the front and the back of the skirt. So going, whoop, so you hold that ruler down. All right, so this is going to be for my skirt slip, and you can use a curved ruler here, and I do have one, but I also want to show you that you can do it just by using a ruler. So I said I wanted, well, I did do 5 inches. Let's go up, let's do 4.5 inches, and if I need to trim it later or hem it up, I will. So 4.5 inches. So what I like to do is, if you don't have a curved ruler, you go to like the next section, 4.5 here, and you can mark it or just come and bring 4.5 inches here. And so you know you're following that curve to the 4.5 inches. Okay. So now I know that this is 4.5 inches longer, and I went in here. Let me make sure I tell you exactly, because I know I did more than couple of inches. 3.5 inches. So I'm 3.5 inches in from the side. Then this will get cut just the same. I'm gonna notch here the center, so I know that's my center. And then now I'm gonna cut a back of this skirt the same way, and this is gonna be my slip that I'm gonna put underneath my dress. You ask, what kind of fabric are you using? This is like a slub fabric, like a very thin rayon spandex. I got this fabric from Boho Fabrics. I got both fabrics from Boho Fabrics. And this is like a very, very thin fabric. And I wanted something very thin and light because I don't want it to be hot and bulky. So that's why I went with a really light fabric. You could just place this other skirt right on top and make sure you get it exactly the same if you want to do that. Or you can just measure it out like I did earlier. Either way is fine. All right, so now that we've got all our pieces cut out, we're gonna get started. And this is gonna be sewn, the bodice and the skirt are gonna be sewn, well, yes, without the lining. They're gonna be sewn exactly the same way as the tutorial. So I'm just gonna sew them up real quickly, and then we're gonna go over how I attach my lining skirt. So I'm gonna go this fast speed, and if you have questions on how to sew this up, make sure you check out the Diana pattern tutorial here on our channel, and you can find all that information there, the full tutorial there. We start by sewing the two bodices right sides together at the shoulders, the liner and the outer. Liner with liner and outer with outer. I am doing flutter sleeves, but I'm not hemming them. I'm gonna leave them raw. So here at the top, which I marked my center here, I'm gonna remove that, but I'm gonna mark the center on the top of the sleeve, and I'm gonna put in a gathering stitch at the top to gather this sleeve to fit to my bodice once we get to sewing that. If you're gonna hem your flutter sleeve, you would hem it now, and you would hem the curved edge is what gets hemmed. We're gonna grab our bodice main, face it right side up, and we're gonna match up our flutter sleeves to the side of the bodice. We're going to gather it to fit, and then we're going to baste it on. We're going to do the same for the other side and put in a basting stitch to baste these two together. You know, I haven't even done anything, but this is already looking so pretty. All right, now I'm going to put the lining bodice right on top of the outer, and we're going to work on this square neck. Again, this is a quick sew, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew it together with my straight stitch on my sewing machine, and then go through it with my regular stitch, and I'm going to add elastic. And you can go ahead, and if you have questions on how to do this, please check out the full tutorial. Now you can go ahead and understitch if you want. I think I'm just gonna leave it because my sewing machine is not be doing so great on understitching. Oh, I missed a spot. Whew, let me go fix that. All right, I just went over it again with my serger to make sure it was all the way in. Okay, so that's good right there. Then you can go ahead and steam. And my favorite part now is doing the burrito method for my sleeves. All right, so now that we're done doing the bodices, we're gonna sew up our sleeves. So we've got this already, we're all flutter sleeves. We've got this already finished here, and we're gonna do what's called the burrito method by folding this side in all the way and grabbing the other side of the sleeve and bringing it over and matching it right sides together. This is the liner and the outer matching together on the same side. So the same side liner, the same side outer. Again, check out the full tutorial for more explicit instructions. Again, check out the full tutorial for better, detailed instructions. We'll do this for both sides. All right, now we pull through the bottom and pull it through. And that one flutter is done. Look at that, it's so cute. Then we're gonna do the same for the other side. So we lay it out. This is the back and front. We roll this other side into it. Get these flutters this way. And then we bring the other side over the back and match it right sides together here. Pin and sew. All right, now we pull that side out and we're almost done with our bodice. This is why I love this pattern so much. It's so easy and it is so good. Comment below and let me know what is your go-to pattern. I either like this one, I like the oversized tee, or the staycation dress. I feel like those are my go-to patterns that I sew up quite often. Now we're gonna open up our bodice and we're gonna match up the outer with outer and the liner with liner on the sides. While I am doing that, I'm also going to go ahead and work on my skirt. So this is my, okay, let me see. Oh yeah, this is my second tier. We're gonna grab those and match them up right sides together along the sides. All right, and also I'm gonna grab my lining skirt. I'm gonna place them both right sides together and also sew that side seam. All right, once I've sewn those sides and the sides of my bodice and the sides of the skirt, I'm gonna put in a long straight stitch at the bottom of the top tier. I'm sorry, at the top of the tier, because this is gonna get gathered the size of the waist, and at the top of the bottom tier as well, because that will get gathered the size of the bottom of the skirt. Now for the lining skirt, you don't have to do that because the waist should match up with the waist size of your bodice. I'm gonna up my tension a little bit and maybe that will help me with my gathers. You all know how I just said this was an easy sew that helps me to, like when I've had a rough couple of days of sewing and things have not worked my way. This is a sew that's quick and easy and I can get done and it doesn't give me any issues. I just spent like 20 minutes seam ripping a seam that had clear elastic on it. So I can't, and it's serged, so I can't just pull the thread. I have to actually rip up the whole serge. So, because I sewed in the wrong way. I sewed it the wrong way. And I think it was too much, like I was just overconfident and I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's not. Let's slow down a little bit. So I just seam ripped everything. What I did, and I'm going to not show that part because there's no point. I don't want you to get confused. I sewed up, I don't know why, I didn't even think about it. I sewed up the lining skirt before the main skirt. So once it was all sewn up, the main skirt was underneath like a lining and the other skirt was on top like the outer. Not what we were trying to do. So now we're going to go ahead and continue and do it the right way this time. Please work. We're going to mark our centers. Mark our centers. And we're going to start by matching our main skirt. Right sides together. Main skirt, not the lining. Remember that you're grabbing your lining, bodice lining and bodice outer, and that's what you're attaching it to. So if you want to, and you're doing it right sides together, you can go ahead and baste this on first, and then come back and attach the slip skirt, the other thing. So that's up to you. I may go ahead and do that just because I've already had too many issues. So I want to go ahead and do it right. All right, I'm going to go baste that on with a straight stitch on my sewing machine. All right, so now I got this all set up, which was good. We're going to grab our lining skirt now, and you know what? Do I want to attach the lining skirt first, or do I want to attach, let's attach the other skirt first, because that way I'll get that out of the way. And then we'll attach the lining skirt so that the lining skirt doesn't get in the way of us attaching this bottom piece here. And what we're going to do is find the half and attach it just like we attached that middle skirt by gathering to fit and attaching right sides together. And this time I'm going to go straight to my serger because there is no reason why it wouldn't be right. Hopefully. I almost just attached it to the bottom of the ruffle, like attached itself to itself. What in the world is wrong with me? Good thing I cut that. Again, I almost did it again. All right, let's sew that up. All we've had left to do is to attach the liner skirt and to hem, and we'll be done. All right, so now we're going to attach the lining, and we want the outer side to be touching our bodice, so our body. So what I'm going to do is line up. So the wrong side of the body is going to touch the wrong side of the lining. So that way, this wrong side of the skirt is going to touch the wrong side of the lining. So that way when you flip it and you're wearing it, the right side is what's touching you. And that's what I would want. So we're going to match up and then we're going to sew it up. And I am going to add some clear elastic. And this should match right up because we cut it and the waistline is going to be the same. So it matches right up. So all you have to do is just match it up and sew it. We're going to serge it together and add some clear elastic for stability here and hem, and we'll be done, hopefully. While I'm at it, I'm also going to go ahead and hem the bottom of my skirt. Before I hem this though, I'm going to try it on and make sure. I'm going to sew it all up. I'm going to try it on and make sure that this is how wide I want my hem. I tried it on earlier and I did feel like I wanted a wider hem because I lengthened the skirt a little bit and I don't think it needed to be lengthened. So that's why I'm doing such a wide hem. But I want to make sure, try it on, because I've already had too many issues. I don't want another one. So let's sew that up, try it on, hem it, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, friends, we are finished, and I love how this turned out. It is beautiful. It is magical. I had to come out here to show you all because it is so pretty. The slip, yes, it's attached, so it's not gonna come off, and it's perfect. I love that I didn't have to cut anything off. The length was perfect. I love how this turned out. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And when you're having a bad day sewing wise and you just don't know what to make, this is a perfect pattern for you. I'll see you all next time.